Okay guys, let's talk draft. We'll start at the top and then I might end up bouncing around some places. But let's start with Cooper Flagg and Dallas. I already talked about this when they won the lottery. This is still the most insane outcome for this pick. A lot of people thought it was rigged. I don't know if they unironically believe that or not, but there were a lot of takes when the lottery happened. Basically with Cooper, it was established early on that he was an awesome help defender who can guard wings while being also ultra competitive and a guy who just lifts up the whole situation when he's there. Oh, and also the guy made great strides as a pick and roll operator, a three-point shooter, a passer on the short roll, also very willing to screen on the ball. Now he's an awesome all-around player. The options defensively with AD protecting the basket and then Cooper Flagg as like a help defender, or with Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford in his new contract. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things there. And then offensively, it'd be great to see him with Kyrie from the beginning of the season. We're gonna have to wait on Kyrie if he does play this year. We'll see if the Mavs get a guard. But again, Cooper, he can make shots, he can make plays for himself and others. Now the big swing thing with Cooper will be like what is the ceiling on the self-creation and all that. But he's already made so many strides in a short amount of time, and by all accounts he's super hardworking and all that stuff. So yeah, they still should just have Luka, but okay, here we are. And even beyond what it looks like right now with Flagg, the idea is for the next 15 years the Mavs have their guy. Now we just assumed that about the other guy and we know what happened, but okay. Now for Dylan Harper at number 2, which none of us were too surprised by. Both of these top 2 picks really. Dylan Harper, a crafty big creator who can string many moves together. He's an awesome finisher already. The questions really are about the shooting, pull-up shooting, all that. And you go to the Spurs now where the question is going to be like, what does it look like, right? You got Fox starting, you have Castle there. And so you're going to have to see Dylan Harper playing with Fox sometimes. If he's not playing with Fox, there's going to be a huge limitation on his minutes, right? I don't want to get too caught up in starting lineups right now. We know Fox and Wemby are starting, but we are going to see more of Dylan Harper operating off the catch than if he was going to end up somewhere else. Like I imagine Utah, while of course they wanted Cooper Flagg the most, everybody did, if they would have gotten Dylan Harper, it was easy to imagine a million pick and rolls all day with Kessler and Markkanen if they're both on the team. And you are still going to see Dylan Harper running these actions with Wemby at times, but of course Dejounte Fox is your point guard, so okay. And if you want to have a big picture convo of do we think that Dejounte Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper will all be on the Spurs in like 3 or 4 seasons? I don't know. You take the best player in your eyes and then you try to figure it out. That's what the Spurs are doing. The thing about Harper is his ability to create advantages for himself and others. He's got that crafty style where he can change pace, use hesitation moves, and really manipulate defenders. The finishing package is already there. He's comfortable going to both hands around the rim and has good touch on floaters and runners. The shooting is the biggest question mark, particularly the pull-up three-point shooting. If he can develop that consistently, then you're talking about a potential all-star level player. But even without elite shooting, his creation ability and finishing should make him a valuable piece for San Antonio moving forward. Number 3, VJ Edgecombe. You know VJ, he's going to pull off some home run plays. Like he's going to get steals full court for dunks, he's going to get lobs, and like backdoor cuts, he's going to dunk on somebody and all that. And that'll be nice to just have some fun energy with the Sixers given everything else about this past season with them, pretty much except for Jared McCain. Even if he did get hurt, but still you got to be excited about McCain and Ubusel proving that he could be a rotation guy. The shooting is going to be the big thing. He was not bad as a shooter in college, 34% from 3, 78% at the line. And there's also just the pressure of like, well, first off we need PG and Embiid to be healthy. That's duh. But also the pressure of we need you to be able to help us win right away, not just be an exciting young guy. Which sometimes that's the way this goes, but draft people they really do like VJ. Edgecombe brings that explosive athleticism that can change games in a hurry. He's the type of player who can swing momentum with a steal and dunk or a chase down block. The 76ers need that kind of energy and versatility, especially if they're going to make a playoff push. His defensive instincts are already pretty advanced for a rookie, and he has the physical tools to guard multiple positions. Now we go to Con Newpel with the Hornets. Great shooter, awesome textbook form, good enough off the dribble along with some like physicality to do more than just take threes. Of course the movement shooting is there. We all know how that fits in with LaMelo. The Hornets, they also dealt Mark Williams, so he's gone now. I'll find a moment to talk about the Suns and their center situation in a little bit here. But a few questions: can LaMelo and Brandon Miller be healthy? I mean, can the team be healthy? They're riddled with injuries this past season. Some of that was Mark Williams. Will they ever be good on defense? Where I think Nuple's effort will be there defensively. And then the last thing is, can you find an offense that features LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Nuple all doing enough with like off-ball movement stuff? Like we've seen Brandon Miller operate with some off-ball screens. LaMelo occasionally gets into it, would prefer to play that way. And hopefully they can find that, because the alternative is that it's just the LaMelo show. And sometimes it is just going to be the LaMelo show. We know how talented he is, but it's possible to go too far with that stuff. Like I would say in general, I've been a little more pro LaMelo, and even I'm like, okay, we got to rein this in sometimes. But yeah, Nuple can shoot, so that's nice. Really shoot. It does feel like they went with the safer pick between Nuple and Ace Bailey. And as of right now, Tijane Salon is a whiff, so I guess it's understandable there. Ace Bailey at number 5. I'm sure by now you know about the Ace Bailey pre-draft process. You know, canceled workouts, bad interview answers. I think there's more questions about the people guiding him as opposed to him, but anyway. Yeah, I mean Ace Bailey for the Jazz, I mean he was a polarizing prospect, right? The difficult shot making, especially from mid-range, is real. Turnarounds, fadeaways, and a good enough handle to get into some of these, right? The questions come from kind of everything else: getting to the rim, playing with physicality. Does he envision himself taking a lot more of those difficult twos in the NBA? The assist-to-turnover stuff, and then of course just again the whole pre-draft process. And he's going to a Jazz team that still has a lot of questions across the board here. I mean, Kessler, he's in rumors again. I don't know what's going to happen. Markkanen wasn't as good this past season, but we all like him. The guard situation, I mean, Keontae just hasn't really hit like that. Colin Sexton has got some interesting assist numbers, but as far as like being a good enough scorer to lead an offense, not really the case. Cody Williams just didn't do anything last year. Taylor Hendricks was injured at the time of me doing this. John Collins and Jordan Clarkson are all still there. They're all expecting to get shots and minutes, so it's really just a whole lot of I don't know. But if you believe in the talent, then you believe in the talent. And I do believe in Will Hardy to put Ace Bailey in sets that can simplify the game for him. Next, the Wizards at number 6, they get Trey Johnson. They shipped out Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum. They got off of some long-term money, and now they have Trey, who they're hoping can do some of the similar things that Jordan Poole was doing. In the meantime, CJ and Kelly Oubre can be some vets for him, and their contracts run out after just this season. They could be trade chip guys as well, similar to Chris Middleton. I mean, Trey Johnson, really good shooter. And when you look at some of the sets that they had Jordan Poole in, where like he's sprinting into DHOs and getting into his pull-up 3, you can slot Trey Johnson into all that. There's questions other places like the finishing and the defense, and also where he can get to as a passer. You know, you got Bub Carrington there. I don't imagine that they would get in each other's way too much. And then for what it's worth, they can put like Coulibaly and Sarr around him for some defense. And you can't ignore Keyshawn Johnson's steal, block, and deflection numbers either with that. But yeah, Trey Johnson, he's got microwave scorer just written all over him. That can be a bit of a volatile spot depending on efficiency and shot selection, I know. But he can score. And now we get to the Pelicans. I got to talk Pelicans for a while here, man. So they go with Jeremiah Fears. This is after they did this CJ McCollum, Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey trade. Which, by the way, Oubre in Washington provides some spacing, like that's cool as well. CJ, he'll take a bunch of threes. The Pelicans took on money for an extra season, and Jordan Poole had his best season this previous year with the Wizards. And yet for the Pelicans, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, man. But back over here, and also hopefully Saddiq Bey is all good with the ACL. So Jeremiah Fears can get downhill, he can create advantages. There's questions about his overall game after that. He's now going to be competing with Jordan Poole for on-ball reps. You still have you want to give the ball to Zion, you want Trey Murphy to keep on developing. You've now just drafted Derek Queen, who also, Derek Queen's got skills with the ball in his hands at the center position that you don't see all the time. Like off the dribble creation, post skills, playmaking, there's something there with Derek Queen. I do have to talk about the process of how they actually got him in a second and his fit with Zion. But as far as Fears goes, I'm just wondering how many opportunities he's going to get to cook in this offense, because the way that he works is he has the ball and he can get downhill. So we'll see. I'm not saying that they can't make it work, I'm just wondering how it's going to look. So that's that. And now I got to get to Derek Queen, and I especially have to get to what the Pelicans just did here. When I saw this trade, I wanted to make sure that I was reading this correctly. I thought Shams tweeted it wrong and he was going to have to redo it or something. The Pelicans traded the better pick between their pick and the Bucks pick next season to move up and get Derek Queen. And this is going to Atlanta. The Hawks have had a couple of days here. This basically says they believe that they and the Bucks will be good next season. The status of the Bucks right now is Giannis appears like he wants to stay. I don't think they're going to trade him unless he says trade me. And Dame is out with an Achilles. And the status of the Pelicans is they're the Pelicans coming off an injury from hell season while Zion continues to be in a state of how much are we going to see him? How's he going to look when we see him? I don't know, you also just don't have many good defensive players. Like it's pretty much Herb Jones, do your best and we will see if we can continue our three-point defense wizardry. Not from this past season, but you know they were a top 10 defense 2 years in a row. And also Jordan Poole's here now too, so okay. So basically the Pelicans do not have a pick next season and they just won 21 games. If they suck again, this is a complete disaster. And for Atlanta, I mean this is a gold mine of a pick here, man. The Hawks have 2 bets that either the Pelicans or the Bucks fall apart this season for whatever reason. I mean getting this pick is insane, all the while it still feels like Trey Murphy's development is the second most important thing with the whole franchise behind Zion being healthy. So okay, as far as Derek Queen, look, Derek Queen is skilled, okay? Like he can really create off the dribble in ways that guys at his position typically can't do. As far as how that fits in with Zion, where both of them want to kind of operate in similar areas and go on offense in the same areas, we will see there. Both of them can pass, so that always helps. I don't know, the Pelicans are just a big old I don't know for me. For the Nets, they go with Jericho Sims. He's a very tall point guard. The skill as a passer is real, and I have no idea if he's going to score enough. And we will see how this looks with D'Angelo Russell and Cam Thomas on the team. Now we have Jamal Shed with the Raptors. I'm just picturing him and Jonathan Mogbo just wreaking havoc defensively against bench lineups next season. Basically, Shed is a very smart defensive, I guess I'll say wing, but it's like 3 through 5 depending on the matchup and the lineup and whatever. He can guard, he can switch. There's some passing and screen setting stuff there. Can he shoot? I don't know. The thing about Shed is his basketball IQ jumps out immediately. He's one of those players who just knows where to be and when to be there. His defensive instincts are really advanced, and he has the versatility to guard multiple positions effectively. The Raptors are clearly building around versatile, high IQ players who can impact winning in multiple ways. Shed fits that mold perfectly even if his offensive game needs development. His passing ability and court vision suggest he could develop into a useful secondary playmaker as well. Now let's go to the Suns, who just got 2 centers. Mark Williams through trading the 29th pick in the draft as well as a 2029 pick that's owed to like one of 3 teams depending on wherever the hell it ends up. It's the worst between the Jazz, Cavs, and Wolves, so it's not going to be a great pick unless all 3 of those teams are bad in 4 years. But that's not going to happen. And now they get to play the will Mark Williams be healthy game. Look, when he is healthy, he can finish, he can grab rebounds, and the defensive impact stuff that was there early on in his career hasn't been there the same way, man. And we have now seen the Hornets twice say we're good on this one. And also extension talks are going to come up with him pretty soon, and he still has not played more than 45 games in a season. But he will set screens for Booker and Beal as long as he's on the Suns, and Jalen Wells as well, so I guess you got that going for you. And then as far as Kel'el Ware, a young, very lengthy center where the dream is that he can be a rim protector, rebounder. He's a better offensive rebounder than defensive rebounder right now. Screen, etc., etc. Yeah, we'll just see in time, man. I mean they're just hoping he can be a prototypical big guy. Got to progress as a passer, we'll see with him, but you cannot ignore the size. He's a big dude. Now as far as the Suns going this route, banking on Mark Williams being healthy and then using their pick to just draft a backup, in one sense, yeah, they needed a center. In another sense, I don't know how much they're going to see one of them and the other one might not be ready. And also again, like Mark Williams' defense, it slipped from the beginning of his career. So after today, I mean Ware could end up being awesome in time. Hell, maybe day 1. But usually with young centers, it's just tough. And so I don't feel very differently about the Suns today like I did 3 hours ago. Next we have Jalen Wells going to the Grizzlies. I did see some Blazers fans wanting Wells, but the Grizzlies, they have now moved on from one of the Desmond Bane picks already, and they said, we want this dude. Where you know Wells, the 3-ball looks really pretty. His finishing numbers are kind of nutty, especially for his position in a good way. Like there is some attacking off the catch stuff here, and defensively he's really long. He's got a crazy wingspan. The Grizzlies clearly see something in Wells that made them want to move up to get him. His shooting stroke is pure, and he has good size for his position. The athletic testing numbers were impressive, and he has the length to potentially guard multiple positions at the NBA level. Next up, the Bulls' Matisse Buzelis. The vibe around Buzelis is the way he moves at 6 feet 10 inches is very interesting. So defensive potential, transition, cuts, finishing, all that. As far as creation and shooting, it's going to take a minute, so we'll see there. There's Ryan Dunn with the Spurs. This guy was kind of climbing up draft boards where his box score numbers were not much in college, but the size, the defense, the three-point shooting, the length, he just projects as a dude who can make a two-way impact. And also you can slot him into a bunch of different lineups because of his size. And the Spurs can put out some defensive lineups here between Wemby, Castle, Sachin, and now Ryan Dunn as well. It's cool stuff. And then finally, with apologies to a few guys here, I just want to talk about Nikola Topic because it was surprising to see him drop this much to number 20 with Miami. I think this is a gift for the Heat, really. Like Topic, the passing and the passing out of the pick and roll, they're desperate for anything like that at the point guard position. There's something there with his shooting off the dribble. It's not a guarantee he's going to get there, but there's something there. He's got to tone down on the turnovers regardless. Miami is desperate for anything good at point guard. I just think them getting a bigger swing at the position than they probably should have gotten is kind of a big deal. We like Jamie Jaquez Jr., but as far as creation potential, you know, Topic brings something different to the table. The Heat have always been good at developing players, and Topic has the kind of skill set that could really flourish in their system. His passing vision is legitimately special, and if he can clean up the decision-making and improve his shooting consistency, he could be a steal at this spot in the draft. Overall, this draft had some interesting storylines. The top picks went pretty much as expected, but there were some surprises throughout. The Pelicans trade is going to be talked about for years, either as a brilliant move if Queen develops into a star, or as one of the worst trades in recent memory if that pick ends up being really valuable. The Suns addressing their center position, the Heat getting a potential point guard of the future, and the Spurs continuing to add pieces around Wembanyama. There's a lot to unpack here. But that's the beauty of the draft. You never really know how these picks are going to turn out until a few years down the line. Some of these guys will exceed expectations, others will disappoint, and a few might change the trajectory of their franchises. That's what makes it so fascinating to follow.